morning, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Sunday. Hope that you have a great Sunday. We bring you day 5, our final day of the 2024 49th annual Firecracker Classic. My name is Mike Fell. I'm joined by my son and the voice of Hard Hats TV, Oliver Fell. We will bring you 5 more games 25 through 29, as part of our comprehensive 5-day showcase. Can't even put into words what great baseball we've had an opportunity to bring you, how many exciting moments, how many triples we have seen in this tournament, and we just tip our hat to Wayne Sullivan, Darren Good, Cindy Roach, all the parents, all the volunteers, all the professionals, the security detail, everybody that has made this event a rousing success. Well, we're happy that you're with us for game 1 of day number 5. We bring you the Post 22 Expos hosting the Premier West Cardinals from Denver. This should be a lot of fun. Premier West coming in to this game with a record of
1-4.
1-4.
But the one win is over Papillion in a huge upset that is now, as we find out, what kept them out of the championship game.
And the Expos, it should be noted, defeated a team making an
Yeah.
appearance in today's championship game. Let's go ahead, Oliver Fell, before we get to the starting lineups, and have you give us a full rundown of today's championship Sunday schedule.
So today we only have 5 games compared to the 6 otherwise. No double headers, obviously, because everybody's only playing one game. So Expos play against Premier West in the 9th place game. We then take that into the 7th place game, rematch of Lobos versus Kingstown at 9:30. A pair of 2 and 3 teams. Lobos came on strong, won their doubleheader yesterday to the surprise of many. Then the Scott Catholic Skyhawks will play against the Pueblo Azteca for 5th place. Both of those teams 3 and 2. Then we get our championship game, the main feature at 2. And our 3rd place game, Hard Hats versus Pinnacle, at 4:30-ish. All of these are approximate in mountain time, but we are ready to go here this morning.
And we bring you 5 games instead of 6, which has been our custom the last 4 days. Let's go ahead and look at the starting lineups. First, for the visiting team in this game, the Premier West Cardinals from Denver, Colorado, leading off its right fielder Dalton Berg, batting second, shortstop Kenji Bray. Hitting third for the Premier West Cardinals, the catcher Nolan Engel. Batting cleanup, center fielder Nate Hutchison. Batting fifth and sixth, it's the Aragon brothers. Starting pitcher Kendrick Aragon hitting fifth, and second baseman Cade Aragon batting right behind his brother Kendrick at the 6th spot. Hitting seventh is the hot corner, third baseman Mateo Rousey. Batting eighth, Brennan Gunter, first baseman for Premier West. And rounding out the lineup in the 9th spot, it's left fielder Jake Kellogg. So for the Cardinals, it's Berg, Bray, Engel, Hutchison, Kendrick Aragon, then Cade Aragon, Rousey, Gunter, and Kellogg, with Kendrick Aragon on the mound. We're moments away from first pitch. We'll get to the starting lineups for Post 22's Expos momentarily. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you on a beautiful Sunday morning in Rapid City. And we bring you first pitch here at Fitzgerald Stadium, coming from Ben Hassett, the starting pitcher for the Post 22 Expos. And we understand Ben, a big fan of Hard Hats TV, and we appreciate his fan support. There's a pair of balls delivered to Dalton Berg to lead things off. Have that special gleam off the turf field at this early morning hour. The sun just has a way of just putting a certain shine off of the turf field surface here. I just love that shine on a beautiful morning. So many, of course, beautiful mountain-like mornings that we receive, being right next to the Black Hills. Count is now 3-1 to Dalton Berg. Here comes the pitch from Hassett, and that's a swing and a miss, strike 2, and the count is now filled to the brim.
Hassett, a big fan of the curveball. That's his big pitch. very hard to hit. So far, over 17 and a third innings at the Expos level, he has not earned a single run.
Here comes a pitch to Berg. That ball is going to land or be caught out in the outfield for the first out of the inning. I believe that was a catch in left field. Dalton Berg retired by Kane McLeod, the left fielder. Kane McLeod, a quarterback for the St. Thomas More Cavaliers.
He's an understudy to Lee Negebauer, right?
That's right.
And
Sure,
Lee now graduating.
Yep. And at one time, the quarterback room was Lee Negebauer at STM, Kane McLeod, and J.P. Sullivan, general manager Wayne Sullivan's son.
JP transitioned to another position, right?
He's at Stevens now.
Oh, okay.
Performing well there. Kenji Braid, the number 2 hitter in the lineup for the Cardinals. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Hassett, and that ball just off the plate. The count goes to 2-2. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you on a Sunday morning. Something special about sports on a Sunday morning. We have it for you here. 2 Sunday morning games. As Oliver described, this is the 9th place game. We'll have the 7th place game coming up featuring the Rocky Mountain Lobos at 9 o'clock. And the South Kingstown, Rhode Island Post 39 team will be performing as well in that 7th place game.
Oh, Kenji's got to tie his shoes.
Kenji's going to tie his shoes. Gives me a chance to start the starting lineups, to share those with you for the Expos. Leading off, it's left fielder Kane McLeod, batting second. The very speedy Dawson Inhofer, the shortstop. There's a chopper up the middle, handled by the second baseman. Throw to first is low, but on target. And Kenji Bray is retired on a ground out on the right side of the infield. Batting third for the Expos is center fielder Lars Kiefer. Hitting fourth, batting cleanup, third baseman Hadley Burris. Batting fifth, the designated hitter this morning, Trevor Slosser. Batting sixth, McCoy Rippentrop, the first baseman. Batting seventh, Carter Brager. Let's get back to this at bat. Nolan Engel now, the number 3 hitter in the lineup for the Premier West. Cardinals watches Hassett fire below the strike zone for ball 1. Second pitch on target, and the count quickly moves to 1-1. Nobody on, 2 out. We're just underway, top of the first inning. It's a Cardinals Expos game, triggering all these memories from my college days when the Montreal Expos would come to St. Louis. I went to St. Louis U to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Man, those were some fun games.
Oh,
There's a deflected
it leaks
foul
out of the
ball,
glove.
and the count goes to 1-2.
Rager not able to pull that one in. It deflected right into his glove. Couldn't quite get the squeeze on it though.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Engel, and Engel pops the ball up in the air. It is just out of play. Pretty close to the Premier West dugout.
We saw somebody do that in the morning game of the Veterans. We saw the first baseman for Laramie go over and into the dugout for an unbelievable catch in extra innings to back up the relief pitcher there for Laramie in their win. Who was it over again?
Oh, I can't remember.
I can't either, but that was a very good game. You were a part of that broadcast. I believe you were in the bathroom for that moment, though.
It happens for me. I once went to an NFL playoff game in Kansas City at Arrowhead. The game was 10-6, and the only touchdown scored in the game was when I was in the men's room. It happens. Count now 2-2. Nolan Engel pops the ball up.
That one should be playable,
It's in
right?
foul territory. Called for by the catcher, and it lands just on the other side of the fence. So we mean just on the other side.
Yeah.
And here come 2 little boys. They want the ball. One has a
He says
parent
thanks.
just hand it to him, and it's a special moment for these kids, especially early in the day.
Soon enough, they can
They
be
may
Expos.
have their own little quota a target for how many foul balls they want to bring in today. There's a swing. That ball is drilled into center field for a base hit, and Hassett yields his first base hit of the ball game. Nolan Engel on first. To round out that starting lineup for post 22, batting eighth, the very speedy and dynamic right fielder Graydon Juvie, also a St. Thomas More offensive weapon, and batting ninth on the football field. Batting ninth, second baseman Tayton. There's a
Dayton.
Tayton Giddings. And again on the mound right now, Ben Hassett. So for the Expos, it's McLeod, Inhofer, Kiefer, Slosser, Rippentrop. I'm sorry, McLeod, Inhofer, Kiefer, Burris, Slosser, Rippentrop, Breger, Juvie, and Giddings. And you are up to date with our lineups. Here comes the pitch. That ball struck to left field,
foul.
and it's just foul. Very well would have scored Nolan Engel from first base had it stayed fair. Nate Hutchison now the batter. Hutchison down in the count 0-2, but getting some good swings. So the Expos, the post 22 Expos defeated the Missoula Mavericks, something that the Hard Hats were unable to do.
Sick curveball right here.
But I did hear from the Missoula Mavericks video broadcaster that they had a different lineup. They have a man picked off, throw to first, second, not in
He
time.
dodged the tag.
Nolan Engel able to dodge the tag and flash some speed and advance from first to second base.
I think the throw beat him there, but he pulled both arms to the side, gave way to the middle, and snuck those arms in before the tag hit him.
We see the post 22 Hard Hats and post 22 Expos get out of those jams all the time in a very similar way. Nate Hutchison now waits for the 0-2 pitch, and he swings and misses. That's strike three. And Ben Hassett puts up a 0 to begin this early morning ball game for the post 22 Expos. To recap the top of the first inning, there were no runs, there was one hit, there were no errors, and there was one man left on base. Through half an inning of play, in game one of our 5-game slate here on Championship Sunday, it's post 22, Expos 0, and the Premier West Cardinals coming up. This is Hard Hats TV.
I'll tell you what, Ben Hassett, a heck of a pitcher out there on the mound. As I mentioned, so far this season for the Expos, 17 and a third innings pitched, now 18 and a third innings pitched, and no earned runs, an ERA that is 0, a whip that is at about 830, and his curveball is something to admire. That is a elite strikeout pitch that'll make him a very solid hard hat when the time comes. We've got some great pitches in our rotation. Eli Kelly's curveball, very well known. And then we've got fastball for Negebauer and Lighty. But one that's kind of mystical, I heard on the bus, the Negebauer changeup, something that the coaches themselves, the pitching coaches, don't know what makes it different from the other ones, but it works a lot better. They are the coaches, they are the ones teaching this, but for some reason the way that it's thrown by the Negebauer brothers just works better than the rest of the guys. And there's some sort of mystical knowledge in there.
So much mystery when it comes to pitching. A lot of times, it's not the pitch, it's the hitter struggling to pick up the baseball, either in terms of where the release point is or how it comes out of the hand of a pitcher. There's just so many elements. There have been major league pitchers who they haven't necessarily thrown hard. They haven't even necessarily been masters at locating their pitches, but they kind of hide the ball well, and they just
That's why submariners work.
they have a deceptive element that makes it very difficult for pitches to be picked up. And if you're throwing a changeup, maybe and you're kind of hiding the ball or the ball comes out differently. But I think most hitters assume that they're going to see they mentally brace themselves for a fastball.
Especially from the Negerbauers, who have
Oh,
very fast fastballs.
absolutely. Well, Kane McLeod will lead things off. The STM quarterback hitting from the right-handed side of the plate. Waits for the first pitch here from Kendrick Aragon. Aragon hails from Farmington, New Mexico. He's had a good tournament, I believe. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to McLeod. That pitch just inside at the belt for ball one. Glad you're with us. Championship Sunday of this legendary 49-year-old tournament. Missoula will battle the Bellevue West Thunderbirds, DC Electric Thunderbirds later today. However, I've been around a lot of ball games with you the last 4 days. It's been a blast. I haven't even been around Bellevue West. For some reason, the schedule worked out. I just never even saw the Thunderbirds. There's a hit by pitch on the elbow by
And we're off and
Kendrick
running.
Aragon, and we have the very speedy Kane McLeod at first base.
I'm just going to leave it on the wide angle. Kane McLeod stolen, I believe, 40 bases now this season.
Wow, it's a lot of steals. Dawson Inhofer now, he's up to bat. He was considered, when he was on the hard hats, I believe, to be the fastest hard hat. Here comes a pitch. There's a bunt, a nice sacrifice bunt. Throw to first is just going to be recorded as an out with a good stretch there by Brennan Gunter to make sure that the first out was recorded at first base. So that's going to be a 5-3 put out if you're scoring with us. Inhofer retired at first, but that was a sacrifice that advances Kane McLeod as a potential lead run to second base. And here comes Lars Kiefer with a man in scoring position with one out.
I was very impressed by Lars's throws in that Papillion game.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot to write home about in that 15-0 game, but he had some really good throws from center. One hop from deep right all the way to left.
Here comes a pitch to Lars. That catches the corner for strike one. A lot of fun these last 4 days, whether being in the booth with all of you, being in the stands, watching the fireworks display Friday night. It's been amazing. There's a ball lifted high to center field, and it's going to be caught. Tagging is McLeod, and he will reach third base without much resistance. So Kiefer flies out to center. That's the second out of the inning, and here comes the cleanup hitter, Hadley Burris. Fan says, let's go Had. Let's see what Hadley Burris can do in this clutch moment. We're in the bottom of the first, no score. Premier West Cardinals from Denver against the Post 22 Expos from Rapid City. There's a pitch, and Chopper goes to second. Easy throw to first in time. And Kendrick Aragon gets it done as he works around a hit by pitch issue to the leadoff man and strands Kane McLeod at third base. So, to recap the bottom of the first inning, for the Post 22 Expos, there were no runs, there were no hits, no errors, and there was one man left on base. Through an inning of play here at Floyd Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City, South Dakota, it's the Expos and the Cardinals scoreless.
All right. Well, usually, Kendrick Aragon doing a great job to get out of that. That's usually you get a man on against these Expos. They're extremely fast. Despite only playing 3 games, they have, I believe it's 4 guys with multiple stolen bases in this tournament. That's a best for anybody in the tournament. And like I said, they played 2 fewer games than everyone else to do so. Ben Hassett, as late as last night, or 2 nights ago, when we were playing Missoula, he was still tied for the most stolen base, or actually as late as last night, middle of the day yesterday, he was tied for the most stolen bases in the tournament, and now he's on the mound. I believe now in third place, thanks to Morgan and Roberts for the hard hats.
Thank you, Oliver Fell. Mike Fell with you now. We bring you the top of the second inning. Due up for the Premier West Cardinals, it's Kendrick Aragon, Cade Aragon, and Mateo Rousey. If anyone gets on, Brennan Gunter will step to the batter's box. And the first pitch from Ben Hassett's over for a strike. Kendrick, a chance to help his own cause here as the starting pitcher for Premier West. Premier West 1-4 in pool play. The Expos 1-3 in pool play. Expos filling in for as a replacement team in the Firecracker, accounting themselves very well, which they always do when they're asked to fill in. There's a pitch outside. The count goes to 2-1. It's always a great experience, I'm sure, for the Expos to go up against this high level of competition at the level of the Hard Hats program. Count is now 3-1 to Kendrick Aragon. I want to give a shout out to Great and Juvie's aunt that lives in Montana. I saw her at my wife's family event 2 months ago. It's a small world. If you're watching, and I can't remember your name, I wish I could. Welcome to Hard Hats TV. There's a free pass issue to base on balls, and Kendrick Aragon walks on ball 4 on 6 pitches. And now here comes Cade Aragon, Kendrick's brother. Premier West, they were in most of the games they were unable to win. Just the margin is so thin, and Premier West is evidence of that between the top teams and the teams that are playing this morning in this field. Cade Aragon down 0-1. Ben Hassett on the mound, looks at first. Hassett, the left-hander, fires home just off the plate for ball 1. Oliver, it seems like the fans really enjoying the cameras that you've had them in play, including the pitch cam, and just another innovation in the evolution of Hard Hats TV. And we had the throwback moment back on Friday when Hard Hats TV broadcaster and the son of South Dakota Hall of Fame coach Kelvin Torvey, Professor Logan Torvey, joined you in the booth. That was pretty special.
Yeah, I definitely felt out of my depth on the baseball knowledge. He opened Pandora's box to me, and now I know that I know nothing.
I understand what you're saying. I can relate a little.
He was
bit.
looking at where the pitches were coming from, the kind of break, where the batter was standing in the box, how they were holding the bat and the adjustments they were making, the approach, and he was doing it all effortlessly. And I'm here standing like, that was a good one. It moved a lot.
Yeah, you and I have what I would call somewhat rudimentary knowledge of the game because we just didn't play the game, for one thing. Count is now 1-2 to Cade Aragon. We know a lot about the game. We just don't know.
We're just outsiders.
We're outsiders, though. Yeah, you're either inside the game or you're not, and we're not. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Hassett. That ball is popped up.
Oh, wait, the runner took off. Watch out, double play.
This could be a double play. There's a catch, throw to first, and that is going to be a 4-3 double play, erasing both Aragon brothers at the same time. Wow.
Poor guys.
That is a family affair, and not in a way that a family wants to celebrate. So that is 2 down, and now Mateo Rousey is the hitter for Premier West.
You got a Paragon.
Ooh, boy, you're a smart kid. Mateo Rousey now. First pitch is a strike. Second pitch lifted, called for by the right fielder, and that's out number 3. So, thanks to a double play assist from the outfield by second baseman Tayton Giddings, throwing back to first to McCoy Ribbentrop. We saw a pop up by Cade Aragon result in a out via perhaps a borderline base running gaff by Kendrick Aragon. We saw two Cardinals retired simultaneously. Then Mateo Rousey popped up. That is a recap of the top of the second inning, and there were no runs, there were no hits, no errors, no men left on base. We played an inning and a half here in Rapid City. Expos due up next in the bottom of the second. No score here at Dave Blue Field. I want to give a shout out to Steve Ammerman, the voice of Black Hills State University Athletics, the Yellow Jackets. And if you're watching, Steve, hope your day's off to a good start. It's a great time of year. It has been cool. We have not had that searing heat, that hot weather. I like the hot weather, I'll be candid, but I'll take nice weather like this. We haven't had the frigid temperatures that we had last year for the Firecracker when it was 59 degrees on championship Tuesday, I think
It was nice. I liked it.
It was too cold for me. But I sure liked the championship for Post 22. And I'll never forget Harrison Good's championship clinching walk off and
I hope he has it framed.
Dylan Marsh racing down to the field from the broadcast booth. Never forget that. There's a ball hit to right. That's a base hit. And Trevor Schlosser is on base with a leadoff single. Good piece of hitting there by Trevor. Now McCoy Rippentrop, the number 6 batter in the lineup for the Expos. Check steps in, batting right-handed.
Something interesting I heard, McCoy Rippentrop apparently with the second highest exit velo in the organization, only behind Hayden Hollick. He has a real power bat.
Wow, even more torque and power than Tate Crossway.
Yes,
Wow.
that's what Logan Torvey was telling me.
Okay, wow. McCoy Rippentrop waits for the pitch from Kendrick Aragon, and that pitch is over for a strike.
He stands at 6'3", 210 pounds. That is not your typical 17-year-old.
No. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to McCoy. Here comes the pitch from Aragon. That's a swing and a miss, strike 2. The pitchers are working slowly this morning. We did start the game.
Rolling out of bed.
We started the game before 7:30. We got to jump on things.
That's how we've been doing it, though.
That's true. We're ahead of schedule, not behind schedule. Hopefully the rain delays stay out of play.
Well, we are not going to probably stay out schedule.
Well, I want to point something out in a moment here. Counts 1 and 2 now to McCoy Rippentrop. Aragon gets his sign. At first is Trevor Schlosser, the leadoff man for the Expos. There's a ball. Chopper down the line and foul. Here's what I just want to throw out there, and that is I really I liked that the championship game was played at 11:30 for the Veterans Classic, because when you play a game at 11:30, then you almost always get that game in. But when you get to 2 o'clock and later with the pop-up thunderstorm pattern, you're more likely to have rain delays in the games from 2 o'clock onward. Not saying that we're gonna have a rain delay today.
Yeah, but flip a coin.
But you know that you know that the games in the morning and in the early afternoon are likely going to be free from rain delays. That's my point. Count is now 1 and 2 to Rippentrop. And here comes the pitch from Aragon, and that ball
right to
fouled
us.
right at us. but the netting prevented the ball
Still,
from reaching it.
this would have been my time, but nothing has come into the booth. We had one go onto the landing next to us, and we had one go up above the booth, but we have not had one hit the booth. That's still something that hasn't happened. We had a window framer last year. That's closest.
Rippentrop hits the ball right up the middle. Throw to second for one. Throw to first in time
Yeah.
for two. And there's a 6-4-3 double play. And Schlosser is retired as the lead runner. Rippentrop grounds into a double play. And there are two down. And the
Aragon gets his
Cardinals,
revenge.
the Cardinals have their own double play turned in response to the Expos double play back in the visiting half of the second inning.
And it's both the Aragons, too, playing pitcher and
Oh
second.
yeah. You talk about the family striking back. The Aragons strike back against post 22 right there. Carter Brager now the hitter. Brager the catcher. Watches the pitch sail low.
I remember
Count
last
1-1.
I remember last year, of course, Elder was the primary uh, catcher for the Expos, but I remember Jace Caldwell and the Kindred getting a little upset at one another with the Bullets coach because the Bullets coach loved Carter Brager as his catcher, but the Expos would call him up every now and then in order to make a spot start, and he was just getting annoyed that they kept taking his catcher.
Carter Brager ahead in the count 2-1.
Ooh,
Witnesses a
eh.
pitch catch the outer half for a strike.
All right, that one was pretty close.
Count now 2-2.
We do not have Hayden Bentz behind the plate today. He's been the early morning guy the last 3 days.
Okay. Well, I know that he didn't sleep in. He's here. Here comes the pitch. That ball chopped right at the first baseman. Flipped to the pitcher covering for out number 3. That's a 1-3 put out. There are no runs. There was one leadoff hit by Trevor Schlosser. No errors, no men left on base. We've played 2 innings here in Rapid City, and we are scoreless. Premier West set to send up the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, Gunter, Kellogg, and Berg. And if anyone gets on, the future Digger star, Kenji Bray, will come to bat in the number 2 spot for the Premier West Cardinals.
We were talking a lot of RMAC this morning, talking about CSU Pueblo in particular, thinking about them with the Pueblo Azteca here and their great fans coming out. We've then the Colorado School of Mines. We were talking about how this was their year to make it to the football championship on the back of the Doak Walker, I believe, award winner. I think that's what the name is called for the Heisman of D2.
No, it's the Harlan Hill.
Harlan Hill, that's right.
Yeah.
Harlan Hill award winner, John Matoka, and their exciting offense. They were number one for I believe all the weeks of the year, and went undefeated. I got to see them out in Golden, and they were a thing of beauty. That defense, maybe a little undersized, but they had a lot of character, and the offense was unstoppable. Matoka, NFL caliber, and it's D2 quarterbacks traditionally not getting a chance in the NFL, but Tyson Bagent of Shepherd really making a case for it. He did a pretty good job for the Bears last year, won 2 games as a replacement starter when Justin Fields was out, and I believe probably getting a second contract at this point. We'll see. John Matoka went undrafted. He's now in the UDFA camps. We'll see if he's able to crack a roster, but Tyson Bagent was as well, and Matoka does have it. And if he doesn't, he has a master's degree in computer science from the Colorado School of Mines, so he's gonna be just fine.
Well said. Yeah, RMAC football at a very high place, special place. You're right about Colorado Mines just being very frustrated. Last year was the year, but a team out of Searcy, Arkansas, seemingly came out of nowhere, and they were an explosive team that had over 5,000 yards of total offense last year. There's a high pitch to lead things off to Gunter for ball 1. On the mound for post 22 Expos is
Ben Hassett.
Ben Hassett. Hassett pitching well so far. He hits the
Absolutely.
strike zone and count
We
1-1.
we got to see him pitch in the that's smack.
Here's a ball smacked towards third. Third baseman fires across the diamond for out number one. And good play there made by third baseman Hadley Burris, who really had to move to his left and make a play he made it look easy, but it's not easy for everyone.
Yeah, I got to be introduced to Hassett as he was pitching in the Expos fifth place game in the Veterans. He pitched a shutout game there, as he's pitched a shutout game in every game he has appeared in. But he really caught my eye. That curveball goes way up and way down, and nobody can seem to hit it.
Jay Kellogg squares to bunt, puts down a great bunt, and he
And
will reach first base. So bunting on out of the number 9 hole is Jay Kellogg, and the name like Kellogg in a 7:30 game, you think of Kellogg's cornflakes. Maybe Kellogg's
just don't look
he's
up the
just
guy
a
that made
morning
him.
he's just a morning player. Who knows for the Premier West Cardinals? That was a great bunt
Don't
by
look up the guy that
for
made him.
Jay
He was a
Kellogg.
goofball.
So here comes Dalton Berg. Pitch to Berg, and he hit him on the hand, on the wrist. I think he's okay. That'll be a hit by pitch.
He
The
got
second hit by pitch in this ball game. Now one for each starting pitcher. Berg will jog to first. Kellogg moves into scoring position at second base, and here comes the very dangerous Kenji Bray, who was moved up by his manager from the middle of the order to the top third of the order, batting second with 2 on and nobody, with only 1 out here in the third inning.
he's had a really good tournament on the mound and in the field, but at the plate overall, not totally great. I believe he's sitting at about 3-13.
I think he had a better tournament a year ago.
He did at the plate,
At the
but
plate.
pitching and fielding, he's been fantastic.
You bet. He's just a great ball player. Berg pops the ball into foul territory. Is it playable? No, it's not. It lands in the Premier West bullpen area, and the count moves to 0-2. We have only had 4 home runs hit in the Firecracker Classic, so that means we're getting a home run a day. When will that home run be hit today? Will it be in the championship, or will it be
Matisic,
in a different game?
Matisic, a little overdue. It feels like.
Here comes the pitch. There's a ball hit in the right side of the infield, and it will get
Oh, he's
through.
coming home.
And here comes a play at the plate, and scoring the first run of the game is Jake Kellogg. That's going to be an RBI from Kenji Bray. He gets the ball into right field, throw home, not in time, and Kellogg scores to give the Premier West Cardinals a 1-0 lead here in the top half of the third inning. Dalton Berg, he is at third base, still with just 1 out. And Kenji Bray comes through again. What can you say about Kenji? He can do everything in this game. He's going to be a great Armac baseball player for sure.
I don't know how Colorado School of Mines does baseball. It's so hostile an environment in Golden in the spring. It doesn't hit summer until mid-June.
There's Bray getting picked off first. He
They're gonna let
slides
him.
into second, and they
That
make
is
sure they hold the runner Dalton Berg at third, and that was an intelligent way to handle things because that second out is not nearly as important as that second run,
But
and it's called prioritization. And I think that was some good piece of judgment there.
what I saw yesterday that's really confounded me is twice there were 2 outs, and the man started to intentionally step in the middle, and they let him go back. And my thought was, I think you could just tag him before the guy gets home. And several times they had him in a rundown, and they just would let the guy get to second or something instead of just getting the final out. On 2 outs, that doesn't make sense to me. The rest of it does. But, yeah, it happened several times.
We got 1 out in this situation. Here we go. We got a chopper towards Burris at third. Burris fires wide of the bag. That'll be an error. 1 run scores. Make that 2 runs now. Berg and Bray cross home plate. And a throwing error by Hadley Burris at the hot corner allows Nolan Engel to reach first base. And that is the first error committed by either team in this ball game, and that is a costly error as 2 runs cross home plate on that error. Big error there for the Expos. It's now 3-0 in favor of the Premier West Cardinals, trying to get to 2-4 and win the 9th place distinction here on this championship Sunday morning. Nate Hutchison, now the batter, he struck out his first time up. Ben Hassett has to be frustrated. The defense not backing him the way that he is, to the level in which he is pitching right now.
The errors, yeah, very rare.
Bassett, 5 pitches, ball hit hard to left, and that's going to be out number 2. But yeah, when you don't have the defense behind you, it's hard to get that victory, and it gets frustrating, that's for sure. Nate Hutchison makes the catch, or rather, making the catch in left field to retire Nate Hutchison is Kane McLeod. Now here comes Kendrick Aragon, who now has a 3-run cushion as the starting pitcher for Premier West to work with. Taking off is Kenji Bray. That ball gets away from the catcher, Barger, for post 22, and that'll be a stolen base for Kenji.
That's not Kenji, that's Engel, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yep.
Kenji
And that's
scored.
the second stolen base of the game already for Nolan Engel. Now here comes pitch to Kendrick Aragon from Ben Hassett. It's a 3-0 ball game. All 3 runs scored here in the 3rd. There's a ball hit through the diving attempt of Hadley Burris. It's secured by shortstop Dawson Inhofer, but that does advance the runner. Nolan Engel from second to third base, and Kendrick Aragon is on board with an infield hit. Now here comes Cade Aragon. Cade flew into a double play his last time up back in the 2nd.
Has it just showing who's boss with a little flinch move back to first there.
Runners at the corners with 2 outs, and there's a great pitch by Hassett. Throw down to first. Did he get him? No. Good effort there by Carter Barger, to try to throw behind the runner at first base and help out his pitcher. What a great season the Expos are having. They are 36-10 on the year. And they are stealing bases at a pinball machine type clip. Here's a swing and a miss.
There's the curve.
Throw back to first, not in time. And right now, Ben Hassett really dealing with the curveball. And you talked about it at the outset of our broadcast hour. This is a really special out pitch that Ben Hassett possesses. There's a high pitch. Throw down to second is not in time. Throw home is too high. And the runner advances to third from second. And scoring on the play is Nolan Engel. And it's 4-0. That's going to be an error on the second baseman for the post 22 Expos, as Nolan Engel is able to score.
Well, this is officially a mound visit, but something tells me he's talking to the infield.
I think it's exactly. Yeah, there's no doubt. It has to be very frustrating for the post 22 Expos. They've committed a pair of errors, and those 2 errors have opened the gate for 3 Premier West Cardinals to cross home plate in this 4-0 game. Still 2 outs. The count is 1-2 to Cade Aragon. Ben Hassett delivers the 1-2 pitch. That pitch is inside for a ball.
Back toe slider. That's a favorite of Carlos Rodon of the now, what is he, a Yankee?
Yes.
He,
Yes,
yeah.
sure, he's happy to be out of Chicago. There's a ball hit right at the shortstop. Throw to first is low, but it is handled by the first baseman, McCoy Rippentrop. Good play there by McCoy to handle that hot throw from Dawson Inhofer, and that retires the side. But the Premier West Cardinals able to score 4 runs with the help of a pair of errors. There were 3 hits, all singles, in the top of the 3rd inning, and there was 1 man left on base. The score: Premier West 4, and the post 22 Expos coming up, due to bat in the 3rd inning is going to be Graydon Juvie, Tayton Giddings, and Kane McLeod, a pair of STM Cavaliers coming up in the bottom of the 3rd. It's Premier West 4 and the post 22 Expos nothing. This is Hard Hats TV.
Well, thing about this tournament that is showing out how much parity there is. The bottom 3 teams in the standings, the Expos, the Rocky Mountain Lobos, and the Premier West Baseball Club, all 3 of them, who are the bottom 3 in the standings by wins, are they all got wins over top 4 teams. The Expos, the 6-0 win on the back of a great pitching performance from Burke Eschmeyer, in order to beat Missoula, who was now in the championship game despite the loss. It took some help from them. Then the Rocky Mountain Lobos upset the other team in the championship, Bellevue West. And then, of course, the Premier West team here coming out to beat the Papillion La Vista Pinnacle Bank squad that's going to be in the 3rd place game against the Hard Hats.
Well, that was an excellent observation, Oliver, and it's one of the things we love about baseball, as well as not only the unpredictable element as to any team can win any game, but you have those variables with how teams may be sharp, or they may be in the zone, or they get some great pitching performances. And the game, baseball is a way of balancing a certain way. In the majors, they say no matter what, you're going to win 60 games. You're going to
You win
lose
50.
60.
You win 50.
You're going to win 50. You're going to lose 50. And it's what you do in those middle 62 that will define your season.
We'll see if the White Sox get to 50 this year.
We will find out.
I think I would put the line at 51.5 personally.
Okay, I'm with you. Graydon Juvie, the hitter, right-handed hitter with great speed.
I'm on board with fan vote, of course, a big part of the All-Star Game selection. MLB Twitter deciding that nobody from the White Sox deserved it, so they were going to give it to Martin Maldonado this year.
Comes a pitch.
Currently batting .071.
Over for a strike from Kendrick Aragon. So Graydon Juvie on the football field, I think you're going to hear a lot from Graydon Juvie as a junior for St. Thomas More this season coming up. He is a dynamic, do-it-all playmaker. He's extremely explosive, especially when he gets the ball in space. And head coach Austin Hagen certainly going to use him in a number of innovative ways in year 2, running the offense. It's going to be very interesting to see what Graydon Juvie can do at STM his junior and senior years on the football field.
You think they changed up something in the water supply around here? Because this generation of kids is speedy.
It is. 3-2 pitch coming up here from Aragon to Juvie, and it just catches the corner, and that's a strikeout caught looking as Aragon records his first strikeout of the game, and Juvie walks back to the dugout as the leadoff man is retired here in the bottom of the 3rd inning in a 4-0 ball game. in which the Premier West Cardinals from Denver have the lead. Now batting is Tatum Giddings. And Oliver, you just hit the nail squarely on the head when you said, "What is with the speed?" And I've always loved that phrase, is there something in the water?
Mm-hmm.
And you just wonder. Here comes a pitch to Giddings. That pitch high for
Because
ball one.
post 22 system right now accounting for well over half of the entire tournament stolen base production. Between the Expos stole over 200 bags last year.
There's a high pitch. That's ball two.
I think they had more steals than like maybe. Okay, I think they had more steals than strikeouts. I'll say that. That's for certain.
Wow. Kelvin Torvey, he's sitting next to the dugout now, checking out the game. There's a pop up called
Kenji.
for by Kenji Bray, and that's an easy catch to be made by Kenji for out number two. Good to see Coach Torvey. He's got a
Mm-hmm.
nice hat on.
Oh yeah, he's got
I
his
like
little
the
his
hat.
little Australian like safari hat
Yeah,
going on.
almost think he could play the Paul Hogan Crocodile Dundee character this
Absolutely.
morning. I always
He
love
just
that
needs the
line.
little tassels with
That's
the
not
wood
a
on
knife.
it.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene. I could take or leave the movie, but I always like that scene. Here comes a pitch, and that ball's off the plate for a ball. Kane McLeod now batting as we make our way through the second time through the order for the post 22 Expos. McLeod reached on a hit by pitch and was stranded at third base back in the first inning. Here comes a pitch from Aragon. That's a swing and a miss for a strike. Starting pitcher Kendrick Aragon from Farmington, New Mexico. Off to a great start, only giving up one hit through 2 2/3 innings of work so far. There's a pitch to McLeod. McLeod hits it high, but right at the center fielder to retire the Expos in the bottom of the third inning. So for the post 22 Expos, there were no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. Kendrick Aragon records his first 1-2-3 inning and gets his first strikeout of the morning. And through 3 innings of play here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City, it's the Premier West Cardinals from Denver 4 and the Post 22 Expos from right here in Rapid City nothing. This is Hardhead's TV coverage of the 49th annual Firecracker Classic.
I know that plenty of you slowly trickling into the stream here this morning. I know some of you didn't see the start. We're going to show you again what the schedule is because that was in the air at the end of last night. It was posted to Twitter and Instagram as promised. And I did not post it yet to the YouTube. I will do that in a moment. I realize that I missed that now. But we got this Expos Premier game. Following that, Lobos Kingstown. That's gonna be a rematch. They played each other the first time, and Kingstown beat the Lobos 12-0. But the Lobos yesterday swept two pretty good teams. This Premier team, and then of course the 4-1 Bellevue West squad. And we get Scott, who beat the Hard Hats. Pueblo, who fought him really tough. They're gonna play at 11:30, 45 ish, and then Bellevue West, Missoula for the championship at approximately 2 p.m., hoping that the weather cooperates, and Hard Hats versus Pinnacle for the final game of the tournament and the third place game.
Very good. Thank you, Oliver Fell. Mike Fell with you. We begin the top of the fourth inning. Mateo Rousey, Brennan Gunter, and Jake Kellogg, the bottom of the order, due up for Premier West, who has a 4-0 lead. If you're just joining us this morning, this game was scoreless through 2 innings. Premier West was able to plate 4 runs. 3 of those runs scored with the assistance of a pair of errors. There's a ball lifted deep to right, and there's a diving catch attempt made, and that's a diving catch. Good catch there in the corner by Graydon Juvie, who retires the leadoff man, Mateo Rousey, with a nice rolling catch effort in right field. Good play by Graydon Juvie.
Yeah, big moment there. That's something that is something to note. Big wind heading out to right at the moment. That likely was what changed it. Also, the sun high in the sky right now, very bright. but that wind really pushing it out, giving the ball a little extra carry.
Brennan Gunter now, the hitter. Brennan grounded out his last time up.
Brennan's had a mixed tournament. He's made some really good plays at first base, but also 4 errors.
Brennan hits the ball hard. Did it get through the hole? Yeah,
Ah,
unofficially
he
it
can't
did
get up.
not. Officially, it's a base hit. Good effort there,
He just
saving the ball from going into the outfield with second baseman Tatum Giddings.
he just couldn't
But
get back up.
he couldn't get back up. If you ever grew up in the 70s or 80s and you had a
Life
little
alert.
game called sit and spin, uh,
Oh
that's kind of what it looked like there for Tatum Giddings, was a sit and spin moment.
man, you guys had no fun before the. You guys.
We had big wheels, we had sit and spins, we had it all, man.
You had lawn darts.
Stretch Armstrong. We had lawn darts that had
They like
sharp edges.
yeah killed people.
You know, not kill people.
They did.
Wounded them.
No, there are cases of.
Oh, okay. All
Anyways,
right. I wasn't going to get into a morbidity moment,
yeah,
but
sorry,
that's okay.
brought the mood down.
Base hit by Brennan Gunter, and here comes Jake Kellogg now with a man on and one out.
You guys did have
Here in the
seatbelts
top of
though.
the fourth. We did. The kids not much older than us didn't.
No, and you
We
got
had
to be
good,
older
we had
now
great
because
TV
of them.
shows. We had Dukes of Hazzard. No,
Was that meant for you?
we had Incredible Hulk. We had
Oh
a lot
yeah.
going on. We had great cartoons.
Kids nowadays have Hulk
We
too.
had tremendous cartoons.
What's your favorite cartoon?
Popeye.
Okay, I think that was a little before you, but
That's still my favorite. Here comes a 1-1 pitch,
oh
and then there's a foul ball. We
yeah.
also had after school specials. ABC would make these after school specials. And sometimes the schools would even tell you when they were coming on, like, this is about an important topic. We really should watch this.
Man,
Yeah, there you go.
nowadays I only get like told to watch like inaugurations and whatnot by school.
Yeah, I still remember when Pope John Paul II came to Des Moines, Iowa,
The Harlem Globetrotter.
and what happened was um,
Oh, foul.
school was
Strike three.
not held, so the students could go home from the Catholic school I went to in Omaha, St. Roberts, and we could watch the Pope.
Foul ball three.
Count is now 1-2.
No, that was
Jake
foul
Kellogg.
bunt.
Foul bunt. Nope, now be strike three. Yeah, you're correct, Oliver. So
Is
that is
Kellogg
Ben
confused?
Sassett's.
Did he not know that?
Hassett's. I think he may not have known what the count was as that foul ball came off his bat.
Yeah, he's really
2 out.
confused. He's talking about it. I don't think he knew there were two
No, I
strikes.
don't. That's it. I don't think he knows the rules. But Dalton Berg, the
He's so
left-handed hitter,
confused.
well,
He's like, wait, what?
they have a way of saying in baseball, if you don't know you're out, check the paper the next day. Dalton Berg, 1-0 now, working against Hassett. At first base is Brennan Gunter. There's a swing and a miss, and boy, Hassett really took something off of that pitch, just pulled the string on Dalton Berg, who was 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch and a run scored back in the third. Third time through the order now for Premier West begins with this hitter, Dalton. Here's a pitch on the edge, and count goes to 1-1. Premier West brought a lot of fans with them from Colorado, Wyoming, and New Mexico. We're glad they're all here.
The Riverton person probably very excited that it was here.
Oh man, I tell you, I went to Riverton in January,
Woo!
and I love that town. There's a swing and a miss, strike three,
There we go.
and the
Did
mayor.
you hear that?
I did. And let's wrap up the fourth inning. There were no runs. There was one hit, no errors, one man left on base, and the score remains 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. We're halfway through. I want to thank Mayor Tim Hancock from Riverton, Wyoming. He hosted me for lunch and took me to a sushi place in downtown Riverton for my first ever lunch at a sushi establishment. And Riverton's just
Wyoming sushi.
a great community. I think I speak very highly of Riverton, and even speak just as high. I speak just as highly uh, about Lander, the great community just a little to the west of Riverton in central Wyoming. And Riverton, the home of the Wolverines high school team and the home of Central Wyoming Junior College.
I would never, honestly, I bet you need to go to another sushi restaurant as well because Wyoming sushi, that is, first of all, I am shocked that there's a market for that in Wyoming. And then second of all, you're so landlocked.
It is what it is. It works. Those folks knew what they were doing.
So
The
they have
fire,
like a
yeah, it was impressive. They had the whole display with the fire. They
oh,
gave you the whole show, the old hibachi style show. It was pretty cool. All right, Dawson Inhofer to lead things off. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming to the plate here in the fourth inning. Kendrick Aragon pitching a shutout through 3 scoreless frames.
I'm feeling a triple here down the line.
Here comes Dawson Inhofer matching up with Aragon, and Aragon skips the ball off the turf. And the home plate umpire, he's kind of doing a double take because it almost looked for a moment like it could have been a strike, but it did hit the ground. Count is now 1-0 to Dawson Inhofer, the younger brother of the great Ridge Inhofer. Here comes a pitch that's just off the plate
He had a
for ball 2.
he had a very good season at Minnesota West Community College this year, I believe. Probably get a transfer out.
All right, here comes the 2-0 pitch now to Dawson from Kendrick Aragon, and that pitch finds the strike zone for strike 1. Count now 2-1. Nice crowd on hand for a tranquil and placid Sunday morning here in Rapid City. Comes a pitch from Aragon. That's high
This
as
looks like a good day for fishing.
Inhofer squats down. It's always pretty much a good day for fishing.
As our friend Igor knows, he's a big fisher.
That's great. I bet Igor gets some northern pike where he is. Here comes a 3-1 pitch. That pitch is going to be off the plate for ball 4, and the super speedy, lightning fast
Nobody
Dawson
can catch him.
Inhofer is on first base.
I'm just gonna leave it in the wide cam.
That's a good
He
idea.
gets picked off routinely and still makes it to the bag.
He's Dawson Inhofer. Here comes Lars Kiefer. Lars trying to advance Dawson. This could be a classic hit and run opportunity for the Expos, who trail 4-0. There he goes. Dawson
Not gonna get him.
Inhofer is in safely with another stolen base. Nobody does it better than Dawson Inhofer. He is the Vince Coleman, the Willie McGee, the Ricky Henderson of the Expos here this season. Here comes the pitch from Aragon to Kiefer. Kiefer squares the bunt.
Oh, he's taking off again.
There goes Inhofer, and he's stolen third base. Blink and you miss it. Blink and you miss Dawson. And Dawson with a pair of stolen bases. I'll tell you what, I have the slowest team in our fantasy baseball league. I only have 57 steals, so 54 steals this year.
I got a player with more than half of that.
Yeah, and I know what it's like not to have speed. And in real life, I'm not a very fast individual.
You passed that down to me.
And sorry, yeah, you're welcome. And it comes right down to it. You just appreciate speed, especially when you don't have it. Here comes a 1-1 pitch now to Lars Kiefer, and that pitch is off the plate for ball 2.
They have to worry. Lollipop throws back to the mound, not going to work. Dawson will pounce all over that. Got to throw it hard.
Here comes the 2-1 pitch to Lars. And Lars hits it hard, hits it far, and it will go to the wall. That'll score a run. Lars Kiefer digging for 3. Does he have a triple? Yes, indeed.
And a lot to spare.
And there is an
He might have
emotional
scored.
and an excitable Lars Kiefer who drives in the first run of the ball game here in the fourth inning for post 22. The Expos have pulled to within 3 runs, and most importantly, they have pierced that seeming sheer of invincibility from starter Kendrick Aragon from Farmington, New Mexico, with an RBI triple to bring home Dawson Inhofer after a leadoff walk and a pair of stolen bases. There's a chopper down to third, throw to first in time. Nice play to retire Hadley Burris. Before I could even
Rousey
introduce
sure is a
Hadley, Mateo Rousey just absolutely throws a dart across the diamond to retire the first Expo here in the fourth inning.
Rousey caught my eye last year. He was an honorable mention all tournament because of his defense. He's followed it up with some great defense again. A really good defensive third baseman. We've seen tons of that in this tournament though.
Here comes a pitch to Slosser. Slosser has it go to Kenji Bray, who throws the ball to first, but that brings in a run. Slosser gets an RBI ground out. Scoring from third is Lars Kiefer, and that 4-run lead for Premier West has now been trimmed in half. It's a 4-2 game here in the bottom of the fourth inning, as that will be a 6-3 ground out. The bases now are empty, with 2 down for McCoy Rippentrop, who grounded into a double play back in the second inning. There's a pitch from Aragon, and that's outside for a ball. So I was talking about Riverton, Wyoming. I don't know anything about Farmington, New Mexico, where the Aragon brothers are from, and I feel like I should know something about Farmington, New Mexico. I know a little about a lot of towns you probably noticed, Oliver, but I just don't know much about Farmington. There's a swing and a miss, and count now 1-1.
It's a 46,000 person town. I'll get some notable people there in a moment.
I think at one time, Farmington, New Mexico had a radio station that was an affiliate on the Kansas City Royals radio network.
Hometown of MLB player Mike Dunn.
Okay. Here's a pop-up. And that ball lands on the dugout. And the count is now even at 2-2 strikes with 2 out, nobody on. The Expos, thanks to an RBI triple by Lars Kiefer, able to drive in a pair of runs in this inning to bring this game to a competitive and close position. We're just about to cross into the late innings after the next out's recorded.
Let's see if McCoy can uncork something.
And right now, Kendrick Aragon, he is really working slowly, almost like watching Bernhard Langer play golf.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
Here comes a pitch from Aragon, and that's fouled back to the screen. Count remains at 2-2. Yeah, Bernhard Langer, the outstanding German golfer, known for taking his time before he would swing the golf club. And it would really drive golf commentators batty back in the day. Here comes the 2-2 pitch from Aragon. That's a swing and a miss on a high strike 3. And that is a 1-2-3 finish to the fourth inning after Inhofer and Kiefer combined to score and cut a 4-run deficit in half for the post-22 Expos. For the Expos in the bottom of the fourth inning, they scored 2 runs on 1 hit. There were no errors, and there were no men left on base. The Expos cash in a pair of baby blue jerseyed base runners, and we have ourselves a ball game. We go to the 5th inning. The Premier West Cardinals lead the Expos 4-2. Coming up for the Cardinals will be the heart of the order, Bray, Engel, and Hutchison, followed by the Aragon brothers. You're watching exclusive coverage of the ninth place game on Championship Saturday for the 49th annual Firecracker Classic. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. This is Hard Hats TV.
Oh, I got a list of famous people from Farmington, New Mexico. We'll see if you recognize any. A couple of politicians in here. Mike Dunn, former Rockies and Marlins pitcher. And then, of course, all 60s team member Ralph Neely, former offensive lineman for the Cowboys in the Staubach days.
Wow, I don't recognize him.
You don't?
I should, but I don't.
Two-time Super Bowl
Played
champion,
for the Oklahoma
1960s all-decade
Oh, he
team.
was great. Just look at his numbers that he played for Coach um, Wilkerson at OU in Norman.
And then we've got Chase Selseth, current pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels in the MLB. Roy Ward, apparently a Brave and Blue Jay. And then some rapper named Sleep from the Chicharrones.
Okay, very cool. All right, Carter, rather check that. Kenji Bray to lead things off. Kenji with a 1 for 2 today with a single, a run scored, and a stolen base. Kenji, as Oliver mentioned, great tournament in the field. Here comes a pitch on the outside edge.
On the offensive.
Count now 0-2. Ben Hassett pitching well. If it wasn't for his defense committing a pair of errors and allowing 3 runs to score, he'd probably be in the lead right now. There's a grounder to third, throw to first, in time for out number 1. Good play by Hadley Burris. Burris committed an error back in the 3rd inning, but with the exception of that error, he has really been solid and done a good job today. Here comes Nolan Engel now. Engel with a pair of stolen bases. He is 1 for 1 today.
Hassett just filling up the zone right now, daring batters to swing at his pitches. He has thrown 6 straight strikes. Make that 7.
Popping it up, Nolan Engel. Engel down in the count 0-2. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Ben Hassett pitching a marvelous ball game. Again, don't let the 4-2 score fool you. He's really only given up 1 earned run in this game. There's a grounder to Burris, throw to first in time, and there are 2 down now. And here comes Nate Hutchison. Hutchison looking for his first hit. He doesn't want to wear the collar in this ball game. It's okay to wear shirts with collars on Sundays, but you don't want to wear statistical lines with collars on Sundays.
What does that mean?
It means you got to dress well for church. Here's a foul ball.
I'm talking.
Out of play.
Oh no!
No, it's caught. What a
Rippentrop.
grab! McCoy Rippentrop absolutely astounds this broadcaster as he raced to the bullpen fence down the right field line and came up with that foul ball grab, and that will finish out the top of the 5th inning. Rippentrop makes it a 1-2-3 5th inning for starter Ben Hassett. For the Premier West Cardinals, there are no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. It's the Cardinals 4 and the Expos 2. We go to the bottom of the 5th. This is the Firecracker Classic on Hard Hats TV.
I didn't personally see that. I thought that was out of play. But Rippentrop able to make the grab nonetheless. We saw that yesterday with the pop-up that Alex Dietrich was able to get. The wind pushed it in. The wind pushing that out further away from him. Very impressive. Very impressive play there. And I don't know. I feel like the momentum now firmly in the Expos court.
I think a big question is, do they have enough time to make their charge? And Premier West is a fine ball club, and they have already shown what they can do throughout this tournament and this classic, and we will see what comes next. It's a good game to start the day. We're so excited. The championship game will take place around 2 o'clock this afternoon between the Missoula Mavericks and the DC Electric Bellevue West Thunderbirds from the Omaha area. We've got Montana versus Nebraska for the title this in the middle of the afternoon, and then of course the third place game featuring the 44 and 12 post 22 hard hats taking on Pueblo as or check that taking on Pinnacle Bank Papillion in the third place game. Don't want to miss that one. Or is it the Pueblo Azteca playing?
No, it's
It's
Papillion.
Pinnacle, yeah, Pinnacle Bank Papillion taking on the Hard Hats in the final game of the day and of the Classic. So we begin now the bottom of the fifth inning. Expos trying to rally from 4 runs down. They cut their deficit in half. It's a 4-2 game, and let's see if the Expos can keep that momentum with Brager, Juvie, and Giddings due up. Bottom 3 men in the order for the Expos.
Yeah, we'll see. They have a lot of substitutions, but not wanting to make them. There's still plenty of time left. Hard Hats yesterday, or Hard Hats this whole tournament, kind of been chasing down teams. See if the Expos could do it too.
There's a grounder. Well played by Brennan Ginter, who races to the bag to retire Carter Brager. Good play there by Brennan. You talked about Brennan kind of having an up and down tournament, but man, his ups have really been ups. And good play there by Brennan Gunter at first. Now here comes the dynamic Graydon Juvie. And a big shout out to his aunt watching in Montana. I met her at a family memorial service back in May.
That's where you meet some of your closest friends.
It is. And Graydon's aunt, if you're out there, hello to you. You're a very nice, sweet lady. There's a grounder handled by the second baseman. Throw to first in time for the second out of the inning. And now Tatum Giddings is due up. Tatum batting in the number 9 position. Popped up to the shortstop. Kenji Bray, his first time at bat back in the third inning. And Kendrick Aragon, he is pitching well. I think something made him laugh. He just kind of smiled, stepped off the rubber.
His brother had to tie his shoe, I guess.
Okay. Well, brothers have a way of making each other laugh. They can make each other cry when they're really little. I'm seeing that with my boys right now. There's a pop up into right field. Is it going to land? Yes, it will. And Tatum Giddings is on with a 2-out base knock. And that'll flip the order. Here comes Kane McLeod. Expos trailing 4-2. Bring the tying run to the plate in the person of St. Thomas More quarterback Kane McLeod. Kane getting some encouragement from his teammates in the post-22 dugout here at Fitzgerald Stadium. We've got some cloud cover, a little more cloud cover than we usually see in the morning here in Rapid City. Wind coming from the north, keeping it cool. Understand it's going to heat up this week. Maybe even be pushing 100 degrees by the end of the week. Oliver will be in the Gopher Classic with the Hard Hats. Isn't this Gopher Classic week?
I honestly have not even looked at the schedule for after this. It'll happen when it happens.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But I do need to do a load of laundry.
Okay.
Before all that happens.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch from Aragon to McLeod. Throw back to first. Sends Giddings back to the bag.
We've got Berg at first right now.
They
switched spots.
Dalton
Gunter
Berg
moves to right.
Okay, so
yeah.
I've been praising Gunter for things that Berg deserves credit for. Sorry there, Dalton. There's a pitch high.
They just switched him. That's something that we saw with Aiden Underwood in the game last night. 2 errors from him at first for Scott. And they moved him out, and it made all the difference.
All right, here comes the 2-1 pitch to Kane McLeod from Kendrick Aragon. We're in the bottom of the 5th. That's over for a strike. Throw down to second. Not in time, and Giddings now in scoring position. And listen to all of these Expos fans making a lot of noise as Tate Giddings records the third stolen base of the ball game for the Expos. Kate McLeod now waits for the 2-2 pitch. There are 2 men retired here in the bottom of the 5th. In a 4-2 game, Premier West, if you're just joining us, scored 4 runs with the help of a pair of errors back in the 3rd inning. Officially, they say there was only 1 error, but there were 2. We know. Here comes a pitch, and that's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Oh, did he get a piece of it? Doesn't matter. The foul tip is handled in the glove. That's a strikeout, the second of the game by Kendrick Aragon, and the Expos are held scoreless in the bottom of the 5th inning. There were no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on base. We've played 5 here in Rapid City. It's the Premier West Cardinals from Denver, 4, and the Post 22 Hard Hats from Rapid City, 2, Expos, 2. This is Hard Hats TV.
Well, Aragon settling back in. It feels like the Expos, if they're able to keep this game at just 2 runs, have a real shot. But momentum, not feeling like they're going to score more than about 3 left. It feels like this game, if Premier's able to pull away, likely going to be theirs. If they're able to put up 2 or more in this inning, that'll probably do it. Well, not officially, but that's just my feelings.
We're happy you're with us. Game coming up next will be the 7th place game between South Kingstown, Rhode Island, Post 39, and the Rocky Mountain Lobos from Fort Collins. Don't miss it. Oliver will have the play-by-play. I'll be along with the color commentary. And Oliver will take you home with the 5th place game, championship game, and 3rd place games starting around 11:30 today. Here comes the first pitch to Kendrick Aragon, the Aragon brothers from New Mexico to lead things off. Then Mateo Rousey on deck. New Mexico, known for the New Mexico Lobos and the New Mexico State Aggies. Also, Ruidoso Downs is famous for, I believe it's barrel racing. I think it's the top barrel racing event in place in America, if I'm not mistaken. There's a swing and a miss. I learned about Ruidoso Downs, Ruidoso, New Mexico, watching ESPN
The Ocho.
back in the day when ESPN didn't have the rights to nearly as many sports as they do now. Count is now 3-1. You learned a little bit about the Black Widow, Jeanette Lee, and the women's pool tournament circuit back when ESPN2 was looking for television, sports television inventory. There's a fly ball out in the center. Kendrick Aragon is retired for the first time today. Kendrick 1 for 2 now with a walk. Cade Aragon now steps into the batter's box. Cade 0 for 2. Grounded into a fly ball double play that retired his brother Kendrick back in the 2nd inning. Cardinals leading the Expos 4-2. There's a pop-up called for by the first baseman, Giddings, who makes the catch for out number 2. Now here comes Mateo Rousey. Rousey 0 for 2 this morning, looking to have his bat perhaps wake up right here, right now, with nobody on and 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Expos and Cardinals, the real Major League Expos and Cardinals used to be regular opponents in the old National League East Division in the senior circuit. Count 1-0 now to Rousey. It seemed like when I would go see Cardinals games at Busch Stadium, so many times the Expos would be in town. And one year, the Olympic Stadium roof collapsed and the Expos had to play all of their remaining games on the road. That was pretty cool. Here's a swing and a miss and a tag for strike two.
That's one of 2 times I know that has happened. It happened with the old Ford Field um, for the Lions, right?
I think you're
Oh no, it
actually
was
thinking
actually.
of the
Yeah, you're
Vikings
right.
when the snow caved in on the Metrodome. Count now 1-2 to
Yeah.
Mateo Rousey. Olympic Stadium was where I believe Bruce Jenner won a whole bunch of gold medals in the 1976 Summer Olympics. Some things have changed for Bruce. Here's a
Bruce has
ground
changed.
ball to the third baseman. Throw to first in time to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. We've played 5.5 innings in Rapid City, and the Premier West Cardinals have only scored in 1 inning, but they did score 4 runs in that inning, in the third inning, with the help of 2 errors. And Kendrick Aragon is making things stand up so far. It's a 4-2 lead for the Premier West Cardinals, and the post 22 Expos are due up in the bottom of the 6th inning, and they'll send some of their top speedsters and hitters to the plate, so don't go away. It'll be Dawson Inhofer, Lars Kiefer, and Hadley Burris, and don't blink because you could miss some stolen bases by Dawson Inhofer if you do, assuming he can get on base as the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The other big star for Team USA in the 76 Olympics was Mark Spitz, the swimmer. He was the best swimmer that Team USA had on the men's side until Michael Phelps came along.
Well, we got another Olympics this year. Somebody I know is from Higley High School in Arizona. I do not know them personally, but my girlfriend swam with him when he was there. He's going to be on the team. I don't remember specifically the name, but we've got a lot of guys from Team USA. Katie Ledecky, of course, the headliner for the swimming team, the most dominant athlete in the history of any single event. She holds the top 10 world record times for, I believe, the 400-meter butterfly.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. The top butterfly swimmer when I was a kid watching the Olympics, her name was Tracy Calkins. Dawson Inhofer to lead things off. Lars
Sorry,
Kiefer will
she's
bat second, and Hadley Burris will hit third. If anyone gets on board, Trevor Schlosser will come to the dish. We're in the middle of the 6th inning, and the Expos trail 4-2 to the Premier West Cardinals.
So I'm wrong. She's a freestyler,
That's
but
what I
still.
thought. I wasn't going to correct you though.
Yeah, no, you're right.
The amount of time in which I watched the Olympics is probably counted in less than 60 minutes.
We do have an exciting thing. Today's the 7th, right? Yeah. So in the men's basketball side of things, 4 different tournaments in 4 different countries involving 6 countries whittling down to 1 each will decide who is going to be the final 4 teams in the field for the men's basketball side of things. I have not been keeping up with that, but that is exciting. That'll be done probably right now because of time zones, and then later today as well if you want anything extra to see. But we've got baseball here for the rest of you.
Yeah, you don't need anything but this. Here comes a high pitch for ball 1. Kendrick Aragon out there. I believe that's Kendrick still out there. Number 43.
No, that is Rousey.
Oh, okay. Mateo Rousey.
It's actually his
on
3rd
and relief
appearance.
Of Kendrick Aragon. Closing the book on Kendrick. He goes 5 innings, gives up 2 earned runs, strikes out 2. Expos. His day is done. He is the pitcher of record. He can get the win if the Cardinals go on to victory here. Count now 2-1 to Dawson Inhofer. When I get excited when I hear Cardinals, I want to see the birds on the bat, but I bet that is trademarked by St. Louis.
That doesn't stop
Here
people from
comes,
doing that, though.
yeah, it's true. Count now 3-1. Omaha Catholic Skyhawks, very creative with their jerseys. Last night they had jerseys on the front that said the trees. Here comes a pitch, and that's over. It's just off the plate for ball 4, and now Dawson Inhofer,
Wide cam.
one of the fastest players anywhere these days, is at first base. And get ready, he could very well rack up stolen base 3 and stolen base 4 right here. For Premier West, they have to feel a lot better right now that they lead by 2 and not just 1. There's a outside pitch. They catch Inhofer.
You're not going to get him anyways.
He's going to slide safe.
That's like the third time he's done that.
Yeah, if you think you're going to get him, you're not. If they call that the pickle play, just snap the pickle in half because it's not going to stop
Ain't that an image?
Inhofer from picking up his third base right there. Third stolen base right there. Here comes Lars Kiefer now. Ahead in the count 1-0. Somebody says, come on, Larsy. Last year we had Mars for the Hard Hats. This year we have Lars for the Expos. And there's a foul ball ground out down the foul territory fence line. Count now 1-1 to Kiefer. On second base is lightning quick Dawson Inhofer, who's had some time with the big club already this year with the Hard Hats. Here comes the pitch from Mateo Rousey, and that pitch is over for a strike. Even if the Expos don't tie the Cardinals, it's the bottom of the 6th, so keep in mind that's a big run in this ball game. And again, with the exception of a pair of errors in the 3rd inning, Premier West has only plated 1 earned run in this morning's 9th place ball game. 2-2 count now to Lars Kiefer. Mateo Rousey checks, gets his sign, likes what he sees, looks back at Inhofer. Now looks towards home plate, fires, and that ball is hit high, but playable in left field.
The wind pushing it.
And it is caught for the first out of the inning. Good adjustment, as you mentioned, Oliver. The wind from the north pushing the ball from left to right, and catch is made in left field by Jake Kellogg. So that is 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Cardinals 5 outs away from a victory this morning in the 9th place game. Man in scoring position is Dawson Inhofer. Here comes Hadley Burris, 0 for 2. He squares the bunt, and it's a great bunt. And
no
throw
play.
back to second.
Oh, no!
A wild one, and everybody's safe. Reaching on a fielder's choice is Hadley Burris. And advancing to third on a wild throw on an error is Dawson Inhofer. And Rousey commits the error there.
Ooh, the door is open.
An E1 on that play. And now the go-ahead run steps into the batter's box. That's designated hitter Trevor Schlosser.
I saw him hitting inside the Parker in the 5th place game at the Veterans.
Schlosser waits for a pitch that catches the corner for strike 1. There's a stolen base attempt, and a good one. Burris is in with a stolen base, and now the tying runs are in scoring position here in the bottom of the 6th inning with only 1 down. Big moment here for the Expos. Rousey does not look comfortable out there, the relief pitcher for Premier West. Here comes a pitcher, Mateo, rips a ball foul. Count goes to 0-2 now to Trevor Schlosser, who had a ground ball out RBI back in the second inning. Or check that, in the fourth inning, and had a single back in the second. Trevor waits for the 0-2 pitch from Rousey. There's a pitch, a ball swatted up the middle, handled by Gray. Throw to first in time. Now it's a 4-3 ball game. Trevor Schlosser does something that you don't see every day. Trevor Schlosser able to ground out twice, but get an RBI both times in which he grounded out. So these are productive ground outs his last two times at bat. And now it's a one-run game. The post-22 Expos able to drive in Dawson Inhofer on that ground out. That's the second time in the game Inhofer has scored. Hadley Burris advances to third.
And we got a pinch hitter.
We have a pinch hitter for McCoy Rippentrop.
Dexter Steen.
Dexter Steen.
Steen having a tough tournament, does not have a hit here, but is leading the team in batting average overall in the season.
Big moment here for Steen working against Rousey. Pitch from Rousey is high and outside for ball one. Can the Expos drive in the tying run from third base with 2 outs? We shall see. The scoreboard says there's only 1 out, but that's incorrect. There are 2 outs. Here comes a pitch. There are also 2 errors, as we mentioned. And the scoreboard just hasn't been a good start on the scoreboard. Here we go. This count is 1-1 to Dexter Steen from Rousey. Here comes the pitch. That's high for ball 2. Can Dexter Steen, pinch hitting for McCoy Rippentrop in the number 6 spot, tie the ball game with 1 swing of the bat? A wild pitch would tie it for sure, too. Here comes a pitch from Rousey. That just catches the corner. I think the strategic maneuver is to get a left-hander against a right-hander. Steen batting on the left side of the plate. Rippentrop's a right-handed swinger. Here comes a 2-2 pitch to Dexter Steen, and that ball is chopped just barely to stay alive by Dexter.
That was probably a ball high.
Yeah. I think you're right. Could very well be a full count right now. Here comes a pitch to Dexy, as he's called by his teammates.
There's another word in front of that. But
I'm not going to use that word, especially on a Sunday. There's a grounder to first, running to the bag, and recording the final out for the Premier West Cardinals is Dalton Bird, who moved over to take the first base spot an inning earlier, and that retires the side. So that's a ground out to the third baseman unassisted. But Dawson Inhofer crosses the plate, and we have a 1-run ball game going to the 7th and final inning here in the 9th place game at the 49th annual Firecracker Classic. To recap the bottom of the 6th inning, the Expos scored 1 run. It was unearned. There were no hits, and there was 1 costly error, and 1 man stranded on third base. We have played 6 innings. It's Premier West 4 and the post-22 Expos 3. We've got a good one and an exciting finish coming up for you next. This is Hard Hats TV.
All right, so I was mentioning that men's basketball Olympic tournament. I'm a college basketball guy. I'm a big basketball guy. This men's basketball tournament on its last moment. We have the championship games of each of the pools. We got Latvia versus Brazil in Riga. We've got Spain versus the Bahamas in Madrid. Then we've got Croatia versus Greece in Athens, and Lithuania, Puerto Rico, I believe, in Mexico. But Mexico, Slovenia with Luka Doncic, Italy, Dominican Republic, Philippines, and the Lauri Markkanen-led Finland team all out right now. Out of those 8 teams, 4 will make it to the Olympics I'm excited to see how that ends, just as a fan of that kind of stuff.
This Bahamas team and the Bahamian team have DeAndre Ayton on
It
the
has
team.
both. It has Aiton, and it has Buddy Heald, and it has Eric Gordon. So it has three.
That's a team right there.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. And
Brennan,
Dayton Albury from Utah State.
okay, very cool. Brennan Gunter will lead things off for the Cardinals from Denver, Colorado. Gunter, 1 for 2 in today's ball game. Here comes a pitch. And it's over for a strike. The sun now at a high enough angle that it feels like we are in the middle of the morning, not in the early morning anymore. Here comes a pitch from the Expos pitcher, Ben Hassett, who is looking to go the distance. He would be on the winning side at the moment, you would think, if it wasn't for a pair of errors back in the top of the third inning that allowed a bunch of unearned runs to score. Count now 1-2 to Brennan Gunter. By the way, those are the only errors committed by the Expos all day. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Gunter goes down on strikes, and that's Ben Hassett's third strikeout, fourth strikeout, check that, of the morning. Now here comes Jake Kellogg. Jake, 1 for 2 with a run scored back in the third inning. Comes a pitch to Jake, that's low and in the dirt for ball 1. What a scene it was at Coors Field last night, in case you missed it. The Royals lost to the Colorado Rockies, but there were more Royals fans in the stands than there were Rockies fans. There's a high pitch, catches the edge. I know a lot of you Denver fans, you love all 4 of your major pro sports teams, and your Rapids, some of you, or your Mammoth, if you're lacrosse fans, or your Pioneers, if you're college hockey fans, etc. You love your sports in Denver. That's the point I'm trying to make. But man, Rockies are testing your patience and your limits, and we understand.
Man, he is stealing.
There's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and Hassett now looking to strike out the side as he gets his 5th K in the ball game here in the top of the 7th. Dalton Berg now the hitter. Dalton 0 for 2, hit by a pitch and scored back in the third inning. Expos just down 4-3. Can Hassett go the distance and have a chance for a victory via a walk-off rally?
He just might strike out the side.
We will see. Here comes the bid for Hassett to strike out the side. As he strikes out Gunter and Kellogg, we now flip the order, and for the 4th time through the order today, here comes Dalton Berg at the plate. He quickly watches the count shift to 2-1 in his favor. Dalton began the game in right field, moved over to first base. He's played well in both spots. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Ben Hassett. That's high near the helmet level for ball 3. Beautiful day. Come on down, enjoy some baseball on this Firecracker Championship Sunday. Here's a pitch. Berg nails it right off the body of the first baseman. Giddings, throw to Hassett in time. Nice play on the first base line to retire Dalton Berg, and that is a 1-2-3 inning with a pair of Ks for Ben Hassett, who goes the distance. A complete game, 7-inning performance. Will it be enough for a victory? We shall find out as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. The Premier West Cardinals clinging to a 1-run lead. They put up 4 runs back in the third with the help of a pair of post-22 Expo errors. But this game far from over as Mateo Rousey comes on trying to get the save. And it'll be the bottom of the order. Carter Brager, Graydon Juvie, and Tate and Giddings coming up. If anyone gets on base, Kane McLeod This is going to be an exciting conclusion, Oliver, as we shift in a 4-3 ball game to the Expos home half of the 7th and final inning.
Well, this is definitely a change in how the game went from last year. These two teams met up in on Championship Sunday last year, or I guess it was a Monday last year because it was the 4th of July. But a championship day last year, Premier West playing for 7th that time in the 8-team tournament. The Expos losing that game 14-3 in last year's showing. They have a chance here, but they have been making plenty of walk-offs. And I particularly remember one rainy morning 2 years ago on the back of, I believe it was Graydon Juvie.
Here we go. Carter Brager to lead things off. Expos wearing their classic powder blue tops, white pants, red helmets with the RC insignia for post 22. Here we go. Rousey's first pitch to Brager, and a 4-3 ball game is high and outside for ball one. It's all about getting on base, because when these Expos are on base, they are major threats to advance via the stolen base. Here comes a pitch. Ball hit hard to right, but right at the right fielder for the first out of the inning. That ball just hit squarely right at right fielder.
That's Gunter now.
Brennan Gunter, who didn't even have to move to make the catch on Brager. Here comes Graydon Juvie. He's definitely a threat to be a tying run if he can get on base. One of the fastest young men I've seen in a while in high school football. Here comes a pitch from Mateo Rousey, and that ball is lifted to right. Will it drop? It will not. It will be caught by Brennan Gunter for out number 2. And now the post 22 Expos are down to their final out. Taten Giddings 1 for 2 today with a single and a stolen base. The last hope for the post 22 Expos. For Premier West, they're 1 out away from a victory to close out their Firecracker trip from Denver. First pitch from Rousey is going to hit the outside edge for strike 1. Premier West, 2 strikes away from a victory. There's a swing and a miss, strike 2. A nice off-speed pitch that Giddings leaned out for and couldn't connect with. And here comes Premier West, trying to close it out here and win this ball game 4-3. Throw from Rousey. Chop past the third baseman. This game will continue. Taten Giddings gets on base with a game-saving single. And now here comes Kane McLeod. Kane McLeod 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch, coming up at a key spot. Certainly Giddings has the speed to burn to move into scoring position here with 2 down and the Expos down to their final out in a 1-run game in the bottom of the 7th inning. What a game it has been. Rousey looks back to Giddings at first. Now locks in on the opposing batter, fires a strike over the plate, and now it's an 0-2 count. Let's see if Kane McLeod from St. Thomas More can find a way here. Giddings fires home, or that's going to be a Rousey strikeout to end the game with a great pitch to home plate, and that will end the ball game. So, the Premier West Cardinals pull off a 4-3 victory, finish 9th place in the tournament. The Expos finish 10th. And to recap the bottom of the 7th inning, there were no runs on 1 hit by Taten Giddings. There were no errors and 1 man left on base. It was a 4-run outburst by the Premier West Cardinals against losing pitcher Ben Hassett, who went the distance and struck out 5 Cardinals in this game that made the difference. And sometimes it's just putting those runs together when you have the opportunity that make all the difference. That's the story here. Premier West able to deliver a victory to Kendrick Aragon. He gets the win. The save goes to Mateo Rousey, who pitches 2 innings of scoreless relief. And Ben Hassett, the tough luck losing pitcher, who goes the distance and only gives up 1 earned run because there were a pair of miscues in the 3rd inning that allowed the Premier West Cardinals to put together 4 runs, which they made stick in a 4-3 victory in which Premier West out-hit the Post 22 Expos 5-4. Well, that was an entertaining game that went the distance, and we now bring you game 2 of our championship Sunday coverage. Oliver Fell will have the play-by-play. Our final score of the 9th-place game. The Premier West Cardinals from Denver, Colorado, with the winning pitcher hailing from Farmington, New Mexico, and a player on the roster from Riverton, Wyoming. Premier West wins 4-3 to finish 2-4 overall on this trip to Rapid City. Good luck the rest of the way to the Premier West Cardinals, their players, coaches, and fans. And for the Post 22 Expos, they did defeat the Missoula Mavericks, who we may find out could be, at the very least, the runner-up and perhaps this year's Firecracker Classic champions. Expos with a good showing as the fill-in team here at the 49th annual Firecracker tournament. All the best to the Expos, who will be the hard hats of tomorrow. For my partner, Oliver Fell, this is Mike Fell saying thank you for watching. Our final score from Dave Plouffe Field at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City. It's the Premier West Cardinals from Denver 4 and the Post 22 Expos from Rapid City 3. Thanks for watching. This has been a exclusive production of Hard Hats TV. Have a great day, everybody.
All right.
All right. Good job, Oliver.